Living well in 2021. Can it be done? Let's talk about it. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It is 7 a.m. It is Monday, May 10th, 2021. And what a weekend it was. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. A little rainy, some of it, but here in the East Coast anyway. And but we had a good weekend. On Friday, we had our rehearsal for graduation for my kids. We have a homeschooling program which is called Classical Conversations. It's a Christian program. It's a lot of fun, and we basically go every Friday. We meet as a group. And we almost do like regular school on Fridays, and then the rest of the week, the following week, Monday to Thursday, we do the homeschooling at home, and we go over the all the material and everything. And then on Fridays we get together. The graduation was on Saturday. We had a lot of fun. I did a lot of photos, which there'll be a yearbook that they're putting together. Um, and we had a lot of fun. I want to thank the councilman, Neil Carroll, councilman over here in Bayonne, New Jersey, for the first ward, um, for coming over and for supporting the program and for being such a cool dude. And yeah, so that's good. And that was a lot of fun. And I want to thank all the parents who were so sweet and everything. And all the kids were great, and they performed. They did they have a thing called a timeline, which is about 12, 13 minutes long of the timeline of from the beginning of time, well, not really time, but the beginning of this section all the way until present time. And they did all the presidents. Just incredible kids with this program. It's really cool. And I'm very tired. As a matter of fact, last night around 6:30, um, because I went out again after Saturday, after we did the whole thing. I photographed. I was kind of beat up, but I went out to meet with the band Break Time, good friends of mine, and then we had some food. And then afterwards, we went and we did some photos in the park. I was like, "Let's do a photo shoot." They were like, "Fine." And then on Sunday morning, I met with a Zumba instructor in the park, and we did a photo shoot. Then I came back here. I had to do all the footage and put it all. And then I did some stuff in the kitchen, and then the kids, and then come around 6:30 last night, I was like, I don't feel so good. I was just beat up, exhausted, and didn't realize that my body was needed a little bit of more rest than it normally had. And I took a breather. I laid down, and then I got up around 11:30, and then I did some stuff, and then I laid down again and slept. So I feel really good today. I'm alert. I'm energetic. I'm ready to go. We're gonna have a great week. And with that said, we're gonna talk about well-being today. And it's one of those things where everyone has their own, ideologies or viewpoints or just their opinions on what is it, what is having a living well, having a good mindset where you can live well, and what are the elements to that, so I'm going to go over five of them here. Sometimes I read these articles and I think to myself, this is good. This is a good piece of material to share with others. And sometimes there's only bits and pieces that I like to draw from it because some of it I don't agree with, or I don't want to I don't want to put it there because I don't think that, in my estimation, it works for me. So because this is my show, this is what I'm doing. So, but anybody can go out and check out these articles for themselves. I usually tell everyone where it's from. This is from mind.org, in the UK. And the article is called Mental Health at Work, Taking Care of Yourself, Five Ways to Well-Being. So you can check out that article on your own and read it. But I'm going to go over the five that are here, which I think are actually pretty good. And and then we'll see where it goes from there. Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. It is 7 a.m. and we're gonna get started here in a minute. We only have five of these, so I'll say them. I'll cover a little bit about them. If anybody has any opinions or any viewpoints of that they want to share, please just put it into the comments there. And if you like what I'm doing here every morning, please like, share, and subscribe with your friends. Let them know that this little Puerto Rican dude comes on in the mornings at around 7 a.m. and he starts talking about stuff. Some of it makes me feel good, some of it makes me happy, some of it makes me laugh. But all of it is with good intention, and it's always behind a good heart. I always want to make the place better and make people feel better. So, coffee, laughs, and positive viewpoints. A positive, what did I say on my thing? Positive look at the day ahead. Positive look at the day ahead. All right, let's get started here. Number one. This is a simple one. It says connect. There's strong evidence that indicates that feeling close to and valued by others, and valued by other people, is a fundamental need and one that contributes to functioning well in the world. It's clear that social relationships are critical for promoting well being and for acting as a buffer against mental ill health for people of all ages. With this in mind, try to do something different today and make a connection. Talk to someone instead of sending an email. I do that a lot actually. Speak to someone new. I do that a lot too. Ask how someone's weekend was and really listen when they tell you. Put 5 minutes aside to find out how someone really is, and give a colleague a lift to work, or share the journey home with them. So, this is number one. This is connect. And I think this is actually a really important one to start with, considering the pandemic that we're sort of coming out of at this point. But, when you spend a whole year away from people, you really start feeling the effects of how important it is to connect with others. Um, and to just be there for people and to have people there for you. It really was a tremendous loss. When you really aren't allowed to be around people, it's very, very dangerous for mental health. And as you can tell by the numbers of suicide and everything, unfortunately, has gone up significantly, and it's just sad because people really need connection. They need others, and we all need others. We all need each other here on this planet. And so that's number one, to connect. Connect with people as much as you can. Obviously, safety first. Put on your mask if you're still doing that, wherever you live. The 6 feet apart thing is, if that's a thing as well, where you currently are. Keep those things in mind. And yeah, so that's connect. Number two is be active. Regular physical activity is associated with lower rates of depression and anxiety across all age groups. Exercise is essential for slowing age related cognitive decline and for promoting well being. But it doesn't need to be particularly intense for you to feel good. Slower paced activities such as walking can have the benefit of encouraging social interactions as well as providing some level of exercise. Today, why not get physical? Let's try. Here are a few ideas. Take the stairs, not the lift. The lift, because this is in England. That's an elevator for us. I like lift better. Um, Go for a walk at lunchtime. Walk into work, perhaps with a colleague, so you can connect as well. Get off the bus one stop earlier than usual and walk the final part of your journey to work. Organize a work sporting activity. Have a kickabout in a local park. I don't know what that is. I guess play kickball. I don't know. It'd be kind of weird for a bunch of adults just playing kickball in the park. But anyway, have a kickabout. That might be a British thing that I'll have to figure out what that means. If anybody knows, please just let me know. Um, do some easy exercise like stretching before you leave work in the morning. Walk to someone's desk instead of calling or emailing. Some good ideas there, some good suggestions. Um, yeah, I think exercise is really important, to be active. Again, we had a year of where very little activity. I think a lot of people had the COVID fat, just from being at home. You're constantly eating because there's nothing else to do, or at least you're trying to figure out what to do, right? You're trying to. That's what was happening with me. I was trying to figure out what am I going to do. I need to. I'm usually out all day. Now what? Um, but this is a very uh, good idea to get out and do some activities. Walking is what I used to love to do when I was in New York City. My wife and I, before we had kids, would always take walks right after dinner. um, and that's a very good way to for mental state as well as to connect with others. If you see people, you're like, hey, how you doing? Also some level of exercise as well, getting the running, walking off some of that food, as they say, right, for digestion is good. So that's number two. Number three is take notice. So let's see what this means. Reminding yourself to take notice can strengthen and broaden awareness. Studies have shown that being aware of what is taking place in the present directly enhances your well-being, and savoring the moment can help to reaffirm your life priorities. They need commas in this article. Um, Heightened awareness also enhances your self understanding and allows you to make positive choices based on your own values and motivations. Take some time to enjoy the moment and the environment around you. Here are a few ideas. Get a plant for your workplace. Have a clear the gutter, the clear the clutter day. Take notice of how your colleagues are feeling or acting. Take a different route or journey to work or from home. Visit a new place for lunch. All right, so that's take notice. I like take notice for me when I was living in New York. In New York City, a lot of people are just walking like this constantly through, especially through Manhattan. And I've always been sort of a dork when it came to like looking up and just looking at the buildings and being like, wow, look at that building. Look at the architecture on that thing. Even when I was a kid, and I got that from my mom. My mom used to always point things out like that to me, um, and just point things out to me and be like, look at that right there, look at that right there, wherever we go on a trip. So I was able to kind of, look and, extrovert a little bit into these things. And so as I got older, I did that. And that's something to do. If you're living in a city, wherever city you're living, there is something there that's ancient, that's beautiful looking. And even if you pass by it a million times, the fact that that it's there doesn't mean that you've really seen it. It just means that it's there and you probably have glanced up at it. But really look at things every once in a while, especially if it's an old church or an old building, or some kind of. Here in Bayonne we have Hendrickson's, which is a restaurant, a great restaurant, run by a gentleman named Bob, cool guy. And the restaurant is in the oldest building in Bayonne, which used to be the courthouse at one point. It used to be like a school, I believe. It was a bunch of different things throughout the over 100 something years that it's been around. And it's really a beautiful building. So I always, whenever I go in there, and I'm always looking around and looking at the structure because it's the original wood, and it's really just looks really beautiful. Um, and the oldest church in Bayonne is right here, about a block away from me, and that was about over 100 and something years old as well. And I've been in there as well, and that looks really, you can really tell the age, on that building. And it's beautiful, and I love it. So take notice of things like that when you're walking around, because there's stuff out there that'll also bring you out of your current state of whatever you're. Sometimes we're all go go go, right? And we don't take that moment to kind of look and be like, let me just take 5 minutes to go to look at this old structure here. And it pulls you out of that moment a little bit and kind of brings you back into present time and makes you feel like, oh wow, that's cool. The next time you walk by, you're going to have a different appreciation for it, and you're going to be able to tell others about it. Oh, do you know that this was built in da 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 da? And actually there was because you've learned a little bit about it. So it's really important to take notice, not just that, but also people around you. Like when you're walking down the street, sometimes you're walking and people have their head, they're listening to music, they're just into their own thing. Friends walk by and they don't, they don't know, they don't even notice each other. So I that happens to me sometimes. I don't really walk around with the headset anymore because of it. I kind of just walk and I want to see if I see people. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Yo, what's up? And stuff like that. So stuff like that. That's how I end my day and stuff like that. All right. Learn. So learn is always important. I talk about this a lot actually. Learn. It says continued learning through life enhances self-esteem and encourages social interaction and a more active life. Evidence suggests that the opportunity to engage in work or educational activities, particularly helps to uh, lift older people out of depression. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Be interesting to read more about that. Um, the practice of setting goals, which is related to adult learning in particular, has been strongly associated with high levels of well-being. Why not learn something new today? Here are a few more ideas. Find out something new about your colleagues. Sign up for a class. Read the news or a book. um, Set up a book club, do a crossword or Sudoku, whatever that thing is, that numbers game. Research something you've always wondered about. Learn a new word. So this is something I'm constantly doing on a daily basis. We're taking a tap dance class right now with my daughter. I'm also doing some courses on cryptocurrencies and blockchain. So I'm doing a course on that. Plus, I have my own course that I do for my church that I do from home and I send in via email. Um, I'm also doing a real estate course that I have to take. Actually, it's not my choice; it's I have to do it per the keeping my license. But that's actually been a lot of fun. I actually have had a lot of fun doing that and learning about certain things on that. So this is all the new stuff that I'm learning on a weekly basis, and it's a lot, but I make the time for it because it's important to continue learning. It does actually make you feel better when you learn something new. Try it. Try it. All right, what's the next one over here? It says give. Participation in social and community life has attracted a lot of attention in the field of well being research. Individuals who report a greater interest in helping others are more likely to rate themselves as happy. Research into actions for promoting happiness has shown that committing an act of kindness once a week over a 6-week period is associated with an increase in well being. So again, when people say research and research, and I don't know what the research is. I have not done this research, but that sounds to me like it makes sense. If somebody helps somebody for 6 weeks straight, they're gonna feel better. That seems pretty rational thinking to me. Now, somebody might be like, "Well, this research. Who did the research?" And yeah, you're right. So go research it yourself instead of making comments, right? That's what I always tell people. Just research everything on your own. Don't take the news for viewpoint. Don't take anything, anyone, even what I'm saying. Don't take anybody's anything as source, right? Research it yourself and come up with your own viewpoints and your own abilities. So these are the five. Pretty basic, right? Pretty straightforward, but I think they all come with with some ideas of what to do in each one, right? Helping is one of the most important things that we can do. So, I do this show because I believe that it helps others, and I've received wonderful notes from people that it does help them, and they do enjoy it and they have shared it with others, and I appreciate that very, very much. So it is a helpful flow to get out there and to find a cause that you're passionate about too. Don't just go helping in something that you just think it's the closest thing there. Find something that you're really passionate about. This way, when you get involved in helping, you also know about the subject, right? So for instance, if you grew up in a inner city or something where there wasn't a lot, you can go to the inner city and help because you've been there, or even if you still live in the inner city and you're working in to and you love living in the inner city, which is a lot of people that I know live in these in like I have friends that live in Hunts Point and they contribute to their own community. Hunts Point is an area in the South Bronx which was known very, very rough in the 70s and 80s as one of the tougher places in the country, actually. but it's been chilled out, and there are people there now doing wonderful work, and people that grew up there are staying there to contribute and to help that community. So that is extremely important. Do something that you know about, right? You know, you because you came from the area. If you're interested in music, if you're interested in the arts or something, and you're that's what you do, help in that area. So that's actually really really a cool one. I love that one. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming week. This week, I'm going to be doing a little bit something a little bit different on these shows. I'm going to be telling stories. I have these stories that I tell, and stuff that I tell during dinners and stuff, and um, I've embellished some of them as far as to make them humorous, but they all did happen to me there, and some of them are embellished in the sense that I just act out the parts a little bit more over the top, not necessarily in what actually occurred. They're actually all true stories, but I like to tell stories based on things that have happened to me and the things that are interesting. I think you know um, I recently went to the dentist. Um, about this was right before the pandemic, and had an interesting experience there, which I'm going to actually talk about. Um, there's a company called Herbalife, which I actually have purchased some products recently, actually from a very nice young lady on Instagram, and I'm going to try out these products. I'm not recommending Herbalife to anybody. I don't sell Herbalife, so this is not a sales call. This is something that happened to me many years ago, probably over 10 years ago. Was I married? I don't even know if I was married. Might have been over. No, maybe I was married. I don't remember. I do not remember. I think I was married, maybe just married or something. But this was a very long time ago, and I have an Herbalife story, which I'll tell this week as well. Um, I have a story when I went to the beach when I was a teenager, and I had one of those inflatable rubber boats, and something happened. That was pretty hilarious. It was kind of scary, but anyway, that happened to me. I went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic from first grade all the way to high school. I went to Catholic school, and I have a story about a nun, and it was a very very dramatic and strange story, and I'll talk about that one. And then I'm gonna be talking about in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna be doing more music stuff. My five favorite guitar solos of all time, five favorite films of all time, scenes of all time, actors, actresses. I'm gonna do all in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna try to liven things up and stop getting so, let's be all happy here. I mean, it is to be happy, but I think I've given so much information and content based on well-being and mental health and how to treat people and how to work in offices and how to deal with on a film set, how to put a film together. All that stuff I've covered, and I'll cover bits and pieces of that moving forward. But tomorrow, just so anyway, all of you know, it's going to be my 100th episode of 7 a.m. And that's one of the reasons why I'm changing things up a little bit to try to give it another flavor for the next 100 shows to go. So, all right, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate all of y'all for everything. I will see you all tomorrow morning on my 100th show. Make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace.